my mothers, we are getting STARTED 321 action in the director's seat is the number one bad dude himself in a collaboration with the masked man, the music maven, and the multi-dimensional mother himself, the number one bad dude, Eddie G, and the creepo freak are sitting here with you on a Monday night delight sort of affair. Hey, my mothers, I know you're out there. Eddie G, what are you saying tonight, my man?
I just called my insurance company. I can see my life insurance. I upped it. I can see creepofreek, and I'm telling you right now, my life insurance has to start being carefully looked at because this guy looks like he's gonna kill me. I'm scared. He's creepy, man. He was putting his finger in a kid's mouth the other day.
I
Creep.
saw it. I saw it. But before we get to that, let's introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself, Creepo. What are you saying, my man?
You guys don't have anything to worry about because tonight's my night off. So I'm not going to kill anybody tonight. But another night, there may be some trouble.
Let us know
Yeah.
before you come around.
Unless you piss me off, then there could be trouble. But well, you guys are out in Canada or somewhere, so I don't think you have to worry.
Yeah, because Donald Trump made it so hard for you to cross the border. He made it so hard for me. I never go across the border anymore. I'm scared with all the problems.
What
Greg,
about
what's
the?
up? What's up tonight with the Grig man?
Well,
Oh, man, I'm just sitting, chilling like a villain. What was that, my man?
no, go ahead, Griggy. It's
No,
good to hear
just
you.
sitting, chilling with my boys, the Creep and Eddie G. And I'm just gonna say this to both of you. I've seen you making your videos, you're pushing through, you're doing your thing, you're getting your views, you're hitting your stride. I love it. It is great. Fan of Griggantastic. So, like I said, tonight's one of those Greg Man's the puppet master. Speaking of puppets, we'll get to your little baby boy Creepo in a bit. But Greg's gonna sit. I want to hear a little bit of the Eddie G and the Creepo Freak, what they're up to, what they've been doing lately. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's the Prince of Darkness's birthday today. I thought it was a great connection to get the creepiest rock star ever on at the same discussed the birthday of Ozzy Osbourne and the Creepo Freak, bringing him into this fold of three. I think the timing is perfect because Ozzy's a freak too. I mean, the man bit bat heads.
Ozzy is, man. Ozzy is, and I like that we got on the topic of the Oz man because I was actually watching a few videos today. Funny, I didn't know it was his birthday, so there must have been something in the air in the waves because I was watching some of those classic '80s videos, with Randy Rhoads, Zach Wilde, Jake E. Lee, if I may say, some of those great guitarists, man. And I gotta say, Ozzy, man, back then really hit his stride. I loved seeing him mug for the camera. He seemed to really enjoy it. You know what I mean? I love those old videos. Miracle Man. You know what I'm saying? The 80s Ozzy. I think that's peak, in my opinion, anyway.
Yep, the Blizzard of Oz. That was a great album.
Diary of a Madman.
Yeah, that's another goodie.
I think that inspired Creepo Freak back in the day.
Well, there'd be no Creep of Freak if it wasn't for Black Sabbath and Alice Cooper.
Do you
That's
know
Oh,
what?
man, I know it.
Ozzy's coming to my town, Montreal, in the summertime. I'm gonna
really
probably go to see him. Yeah,
awesome.
Sharon pushes him on the road every once in a while to pick up a few million and puts him back in his house.
I thought they split up.
No, not Black Sabbath.
Well,
Ozzy
I thought
solo.
Sharon and Ozzy.
No,
Broke.
they're back together.
Oh, that's good.
It's funny when you look up what the worth is of either of them. It's the same number because they're married to each other. But that's why Ozzy better be careful because if that number, if they break up, there's going to be a big check written to his manager who happens to be Sharon. She
Wow.
runs his career.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, he'd still be drugged out in some hotel room somewhere, right?
Well,
I don't know, man. I don't know. She likes to say that. He likes to say that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think he'd be doing just fine personally. And
Yeah.
you're right, Creep. There wouldn't be a Creep without Sabbath and Cooper. And if I may say, there wouldn't be a Grig man without that Sabbath and Coop as well, man. I love, and you hit on Cooper. And I noticed that too. If I may say, man, some of the songs you do, you got that Cooper vibe and what you sing and how you come through, man. And I love it. The theatrics, the show, the horror, the presentation, man, and the songwriting. I love it. It's catchy. It's kitschy. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Griggy. It's a great compliment. I try to. He's a major influence. There's no doubt about that. I loved him ever since I was a little kid. First time I saw him wearing the dress. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy?
The dress. You're thinking of Bowie. He wore the dress too. He got off a plane in the United States with a dress.
Well, I think Alice Cooper wore a dress on that "I'm 18" album. Love it to
That
death.
was right.
He's wearing a dress on the cover of the album.
Okay, that's
I
right.
love that song, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I like his ballads too.
the Ballad
I
of
never
Spike
cried.
Rise. Which one?
I never cried. I heard that a few days ago. It's a beautiful song.
Uh,
That's more ballad. I like his rock stuff, but I like his ballads too.
did you see him play in Jesus Christ Superstar last Easter? They'd had a
No,
big production of it, and he played King Herod.
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, he was great. He just sang one song, but it was Alice. Really good.
Vincent Fernier.
Right,
That,
that's his real name. Right.
I saw him live twice. He brought his daughter on for one concert about 10 years ago. I saw him. His daughter was like imitating Paris Hilton, running around because 10 years ago Paris Hilton was the big deal, I guess.
Ah,
And
But
now Alice has that new sexy guitarist. You know what I mean? That new lady guitarist. Have you seen her, Eddie?
uh, I don't know who that is. Who is that, by the way? Who's the new
Oh, I
girl?
thought you knew. I wish I knew the name too, Ed. I don't stay around long enough when I look at her to learn her name, if you know what I mean.
I
So,
understand. There's videos I watch which I won't get too much detail. That 5 minutes in, I shut them off, but I can't explain why. Who knows? Someone might listen that's in the family.
I hope you close all of the tabs before you shut everything down. You know what I mean? You don't want that popping up when you open up the old computer again. A bunch of regret is what that is, Ed.
I know, believe me, we all know. And once me and Howard Stern watched the same movie. He described it on his show, and I'd watched the same one on the same website the day before. So me and Howard, we have the same taste. He likes
It's kind of
babysitters.
interesting, you know what I mean? Great minds think alike, and maybe not just think, maybe something else as well. You know what I mean?
It's funny because Benji talks to me on Twitter once in a while. He answers me. He's a good guy, Benji Bronk. Yeah, you know who that is? Do you listen to Howard Stern, Creep?
oh, I love Howard Stern. Yes, I liked him on America's Got Talent too. As soon as he left, the show went downhill, in my opinion.
True enough. He was good on it. I didn't watch it all the time, but I watched it sporadically.
Yeah, he was funnier than hell.
I like Howie, man. A lot of people, they say he's changed, you know what I mean? But naturally, he's gotta, you know what I mean? It's what you do. You evolve as a performer, as a persona. You know what I mean? You can't always be Mr. Private Parts. You know what I'm saying?
You mean how? Oh, you're talking about Howard Stern, not Howie Mandel.
I actually met Howie last summer in Just for Laughs.
Howie Mandel?
Yeah, I met him because there's a bar that all the comedians go to, and I know where it is. It's in the hotel, and I went there, and I met a lot of them. My problem is I just got in a huge fight with the guy that I go to the hotel with every year. So now I can't go or have to see the guy all day.
Was Howie Mandel a nice guy?
He was talking to about 15 other people, Joe Coy, who's a comedian, a bunch of other people. And I knew that if I jutted in, I would do it for 5-10 seconds and then get out. So I just handed him my autograph book. I said, I loved your story, blah, blah, blah. And he smiled and he was like, okay. And he signed and he handed the book to his friend who handed it back to me because he's OCD, doesn't want to touch me. He doesn't like touching other people.
Right, I heard that about him.
So he was doing that, and he was not mean about anything. So he was okay. He was relatively friendly. You don't want to take 20 minutes from these guys' days. You know, they're busy guys. They don't want to.
Well, who's the
Well,
meanest?
I take as much time as I could, man. I wouldn't care, man. My time's valuable too, Howie. You know, that's what I'd say. And I'd give him a big old kiss on the lips, you know, quite personality.
That would call
Who's the
security.
meanest? No, that's a good question, Creephead, there before I rudely so interrupted. Who is the meanest person that you've come across in all of your travels getting your little autograph book signed, man?
You know, is that Creep or Freak? Do you get autographs too?
No. Where I live, there's no celebrities.
I would only say Ace Frehley, but I won't call him mean. I just was sad that he brushed by 50 people and went into his little van after his concert. But I can't call the guy mean for that. He might have been tired and maybe he just said, I don't have the energy to deal with 50 characters with their cameras. Sign this to my girlfriend, sign this to my Uncle Joe. You know, that could be tiring if you did a 90-minute show and have 50 goons standing around. I forgive the guy afterwards. I
You know
realized
what it
that
was,
I
man?
wasn't in
He
the mood.
saw you. He saw you and he said, oh, geez, it's Eddie G again with his autograph book. I'm getting out of here. Enough of this guy.
Me and 49 other people with the same book. He was like, the guy was not looking in the mood. But I can't, like I said, I don't hate the guy. He's allowed to just be tired. He picked up his paycheck for the night, the show he did, and that's it. Off he went. But the other three members signed for me.
I have a cousin. He's a pilot. He rides a private plane for celebrities, and he said Arnold Schwarzenegger's a jerk. And
Really?
yes, he said he's an idiot.
I don't want to sign your autograph.
Listen, I have Nazi ties. If you're going to be difficult with me, he was just on TV today on CNN. I didn't know he was that way.
Yeah, he says he's real mean, arrogant jerk.
Have you ever carried out violent, creepy acts on people, creep, or is it all just a fantasy?
Absolutely not. I am the most mild-mannered. That's why I always put I am against real violence of any kind.
I read that.
My ex-wife used to watch operations on television, like knee operations and stuff. I'd be like, I can't stand to watch any real type of blood and gore. I love movie gore, knowing that it's not real and that it was created by somebody. I love that. Gangster movies, I know it's fake. I know it's not real. So I love that. So that's why I do it. But no, I'm very, very peaceful person most of the time. Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you.
Are you a violent man? You've never laid your hands in an inappropriate way on a lady or a man?
Well, Eddie, listen, you're setting me up right now is what you're doing. What is this? A case for the courts? Eddie, have you never seen my show before, man? I get lit. I get hot. I'm an angry man if people are angry at me. And you know, here's what it is, Ed. I'm glad you asked, because I think Creep is the same way about this, too. I'm a reflection of society, my mother's mother. That's what it is. You give me some of that bad mojo, man, I'm giving it right back to you. You treat me with the RESPECT like the old Aretha Franklin, then you'll find out what it means to me. You know what I mean, Ed?
See, but we're guys that give the respect, and we've all been dealt lack of respect back to us. I know that it's happened to me.
Just it. That's just it, Ed. You can be dealt that hand, man, but the thing is, you're the dealer. You got to remember that, man. You can be dealt the bad hand, but in the end, you're the man that plays the cards, my mother's mother.
I used to play the cards, but I stopped going to the casino because I lost too much bread. So I used to play the cards, but the cards beat me too many times. You ever go gambling, you guys?
I play some private poker games with my friends and family, you know, for small stakes. But
Freddie, Jason, Michael, all your buddies come over.
Huh?
Freddie, Jason, Michael Myers, all your buddies.
Yeah, get caught stealing out of the pot, you get your hand chopped off. So
what is it about those movies that I watched the marathon like 2-3 weeks before October? One channel had like all of the Jason movies, whatever, I forget their name, and Halloween and all that. Why am I so fascinated by these movies? Even if I saw them 5 times, they come on TV, I clear the other channels, and I watch the goddamn movie again.
I don't know. I don't know what it is that draws people to this type of movie, but it does, right? Because you watch regular TV and it's all the Brady Bunch and all these new situation comedies, and you ever see the Hallmark Channel?
Oh,
Oh
sickening.
God, my wife watches it every day, and you see stuff like that, and something inside you says, "I want to see something hard. I want to see."
It's escapism, you know what I mean? It's something
Yeah,
exciting. It's something that's not on the norm. You know what I mean? And like you said, Ed, you see the old movies and they're just plain and simple, if I may say, classics. They're good. It's old school horror, you know what I mean? And I like the new stuff too. I like it. I find it a little too over the top personally. I'm a less is more sort of fella, practical effects sort of guy. We've discussed that before, you and I, Eddie and Creep. But I'm just gonna say this. I want to talk about practical effects for a minute while I bring it to Creep's videos. Because I was watching, like I said, a few of your videos. You introduced a little baby boy, little creepo kid. But before we get to him, I do want to say this. What I like about your videos, man, is the effort that I can see, and it's very obvious the effort that I can see put into the videos, man, because you're one guy doing it. You're one guy doing it, and that's what I like, because I'm one guy doing it. EddyG's one guy doing it, and we know how hard it is to be doing those videos, pumping them out day in, day out, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. You know what I mean, Creep? It is hard to do. It is hard to do. So I'm really into those videos, man, and how you do them, the practical effects. I picture you doing them, and I say to myself sometimes, they look so good. I think you're people under the guise of making those little videos. You know what I mean? I'm ready to call the police. They're so good.
well, don't do that. But yeah, I'm glad you like them.
I like the music. You have music going the last one, and production, and people getting their heads chopped off or whatever. And you put a lot of work into it. I just hope you don't sink the bank account doing them. Well, if you do, and it works out for you, and you get some major exposure, you should send a reel or two to a few horror film companies. Maybe they'll throw you a job.
Hey, you never know. I've got it pretty much everywhere now. I got it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't really like Facebook. They threw me off twice, but I try to get it out to as many people as I can. Never know.
Well,
But I'm pretty happy just doing my thing, and I enjoy it. I don't want to do anything else. I mean, I don't like going out to expensive. I went to Jamaica this summer, and it was kind of boring actually. Just sitting in a pool, and it was beautiful, but I mean, I want to kill somebody. I want to create something. Always been like that. I want to create something.
I remember 10 years ago that girl that went to some exotic island, I forget, and some Dutch guy. Remember, he's from Denmark or something. He killed her. Do you remember that story? She went on vacation and they never found her, or they kept searching the water. Pretty beautiful
Oh,
girl. Oh yeah,
sounds
it's out
good.
there. Yeah, oh, it's a real story. It was on what 2007. Then the guy ended up going to prison, and somebody killed him, or I forget what happened. But do
Was
you
it
remember that
Natalie
story?
Wood? Was it Natalie Wood?
No,
Natalie
that
Wood
was
was,
he got away with it. Robert Wagner.
yeah.
Natalie Driftwood's more like it. You know what I mean?
No, it was the other actor that does more
Christopher
cowbell. What's his name? The guy. He was
Christopher
actually
Walken.
Christopher Walken.
he was on that boat too.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think happened with that? With two guys
Uh,
on there with her, and she went over the side. What do you think happened?
that's a
Come
tough
on
one.
now.
I've heard some rumors that she was having an affair with Christopher Walken, and Wagner walked in, and they were all drunk, and he got pissed, and he threw her over. But that's nobody knows. But people just don't fall over the side of a boat and drown. a big boat like that.
I pushed a 7-year-old boy. I was 7, and I pushed another 7-year-old in a lake, and my mother was friends with his mother, and the friendship ended right there. I don't know why I did it, man. They had to pull the kid out. Nothing happened to him. And then 40 years later, I found the guy on the internet. He was a lawyer, and I apologized to him. I said, "Remember I threw you in the water in 1967?" I said,
Oh
"I don't
yeah,
know
I
if I
did. Now
apologize."
you're sued.
Yeah, now you sue you.
He said it's forgiven. It's just kids being kids, and he didn't get mad. We were friends, but you can imagine the mother wasn't crazy about having me hang out with the kid. I threw him in a fucking lake. He was wearing clothes. He wasn't. It was like a ledge type of thing. He had to go down a few inches. It wasn't like a little, like a sandy beach or anything. It was on.
So
It
we
was like
just learned something here. We learned something. Eddie G's the real killer of the three of us.
Thank God that kid got
This
fished
is
out by his mother.
He's doing it for real.
I really did
Little
it.
Jeffrey Dahmer over there.
Yeah, I've got some that Laotian boy, that poor kid. I want to do the video with you.
Don't make me laugh. You twittered me that joke.
Yeah, you know the story about Jeffrey Dahmer, that Laotian boy, Griggster?
Tell me about it.
Well, he comes running out of the fucking apartment. I'm being raped. I'm being tortured. So Dahmer gets wind of it. He runs out in the street. And he says, "Oh, it's a boyfriend. It's my boyfriend." He's 14 years old, the kid. And the
And
kid.
the cops, they go, "Yeah, that's all right. No worries, no worries. Just take the 14-year-old naked Laotian boy back into your apartment, Jeff. No worries about this at all."
And then they think about looking in his bedroom where there's heads and chopped up bodies or whatever. And fridges are full of fucking feet and God knows what else. And the cops thought of looking around and they didn't. But then one kid did run out and they actually believed that kid a few months later, right? That's the story, eh? That's how he got caught, right? Some other
And you
kid
know what?
ran out.
That's funny, man. It's not funny, may I say.
Dahmer
But
killed
you know,
him.
to us, it's
I think Dahmer killed that kid.
No, he killed the kid that the cops brought back to the apartment.
Yeah.
But there was another kid down
there's
the
another
road
one.
that got out, but
Yeah.
that kid really convinced the cops that there was some nutcase trying to attack him, and that's when he got nailed.
Right. Oh boy.
And you know what's funny about that, man? I wanted to bring this up because I was watching something here last night. Speaking of guys like Dahmer, there's this man, you guys might not know him. Actually, no, you know what, Eddie? You're going to know him because it was big in Canada. You know old Willie Picton?
The pig farmer there? Is that
Oh,
the guy?
yes, the pig farmer, yes.
He
No.
cut up some people and he stuck them all over the backyard? Is that the guy?
Yes, Willie Picton. Now, Creepo, this is a guy you're going to want to look up, man. Now, this is a real creep-tastic fella. I'll give you a real in brief about him. Now, he was a boy, grew up on a pig farm with his mama and his brother. Real nasty environment, all about the pigs, you know what I mean? So anyway, long story short, he inherits the farm down the road, has a penchant for prostitutes, and man, listen, one night it gets a little crazy and a prostitute might get a little uppity and old Willie Picton ended up taking her out, you know what I mean? And then in some sort of fit, well man, listen, he slayed her up like a pig, like the way he used to take out his pigs, man, he slayed her up. And what he did, man, I know, and that's just victim number one. What he did was feed her to the pigs as well, man. And then it went on from not just victim number one, creep, it went to victim 35. It went to victim 60, as far as they could tell. Buried in the backyard, fed to the pigs. And guess what, man? Those pigs, they were sent to the processing centers to be hot dogs, man. They were sent to be pork. So the people of Vancouver, the people of BC, they were eating prostitutes. If you can believe that, my mother's mother.
I gotta look that up. That's crazy.
You got it, man. And now I might have had the facts a little bit to and fro, but I think I'm pretty much there. I think I'm there. But the reason I bring it up is because it's on that Dahmer vibe. You had the ladies talking about this guy, man, going around doing all this stuff, but the police were ignoring it. You know what I mean? And that's where I kind of wanted to talk about that, because we were saying, hey, Chris Walken and what's her face, Natalie Wood, thrown off the boat. Man, there's some conspiracies to that. The police definitely didn't investigate. They didn't investigate Dahmer too much. I think they knew what was going on there personally, because you got to know what's up. You know what I mean? And then they didn't investigate Picton. There's a conspiracy, man, in these police offices. I think much, much higher than any of this stuff. I think these guys are almost like scapegoats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to look that up. That's an outstanding horror film right there.
Who's the guy in the last few months in Toronto that chopped up? Not chopped. I think he put them in planters or something, like plants in Toronto, right? He liked gay guys, and he killed. Do you remember that story, Griggster? It's a recent one, in the last year.
No, you know what? I didn't hear of that guy. You know what I mean? I didn't hear him. So he's putting them in flower pots. Is that it?
Yeah, like around his house, and they started digging up the garden and the flower pots and all. I should have researched this a bit more in preparation, but
You know,
I
John
just remember.
John Gacy didn't live far from me.
I
He's in
heard
the
you.
Plains, and I'm in Elk Grove in Illinois, and he was maybe like 5-10 miles away.
You're lucky you weren't cute enough for his taste back in the
Yeah,
day.
you know, I think I was the age of the boys he was killing at the time too.
Because you look up to me about my age, you're probably in the 50 region, and he was grabbing 16-year-olds in the 70s, 1976, 77, and that puts you around my age. And if you were walking the streets back then, I don't know what his taste was, but maybe you
never would have been.
What if he would have said these? See, I tell my kids, I've got 2 little kids, and they're so naive. And I tell them, listen, guys, I know you drive me crazy, but as much as you do, I still don't want you to get hauled off by some freak, not you, I'm not referring to you, some freak that wants to molest kids and everything, and grab them. Because these kids, if you told them there's a dog, I can't find my dog, these guys they're naive, you know. They might just say, well, I'll help you find your dog, mister. It's so easy to lure children. You know, ice cream truck. There's a commercial on TV for GMC trucks where the guy pulls up, he's U-hauling an ice cream truck, and all the kids are running over to it. And I feel like tweeting GMC trucks and saying, is that a good example that kids should go following a guy with an ice cream truck in 2000?
Do kids even get molested anymore? You know what I mean? That's such old hat.
Well, some of them must. Just go and look it up, all the old preachers that are up in trouble now. Come on, there's a guy in Quebec that just got nailed. He was, there's no new story there. That's been around.
I was at a party recently, and a guy next to me said he was an altar boy once, and I said, did you have any trouble with priests? And he started chuckling and didn't respond, and then later on he told me there was a priest sitting right next to me.
Oh my God.
Oh, he started chuckling and then just started looking ahead out the window, and you couldn't get his attention again.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong.
But it doesn't mean he got molested. He just means the priest was next to him, that he couldn't talk about it.
Right.
Either way.
And that's another thing as well, on the topic of conspiracies of silence. That really kind of leads right into it, man. Those guys there, and I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to whitewash every single one of them, the men of the cloth, because there are some great mothers out there. I'm absolutely certain of that. But some definitely do take advantage of their power. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just like the police, just like anyone in a position that has a predisposition to that sort of antics. You know what I mean? A lot of them are drawn to those sorts of positions because they have that not only power of self, but power over someone else. You know what I mean? The priests, they get people coming to them in a weakened state, a state of trust, same as the police. And it's funny, priest and police kind of sound similar. You know what I mean? Both a state of trust to serve and protect. You know what I mean? And these guys, lots of them, A to Z, you'll see them doing what they do. And it's not even like it's in football as well. You'll see it in hockey, the NHL. Hey, Ed, speaking of that, did you hear about a bunch of the OHL boys coming out talking about the hazing and the verbal harassment and being hit with the hockey sticks and the sticks up the ass? You hear about all that nonsense?
I heard about that. It's in Ontario, I think, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, these guys are being broomsticked up the behind. And it sounds funny. I shouldn't even joke because in reality, thinking about it, it's miserable thought. I once dated a girl one time. You know what she told me? She worked for a priest. She cleaned his house. She told me because he worked in a big church, and she went in a room and she found a broomstick handle with shit on it. And she stopped working for the guy. She quit the next day. She said she got freaked out by the whole thing, and she
Can you
walked out
imagine?
of it. Yeah, she said that was it. She couldn't handle it. She doesn't know what went where and whose was with what. But she said,
It didn't matter.
yeah, it
Something
didn't
was
matter.
wrong.
Maybe he was itchy.
Here's
Something
a
was
rule of
twisted.
thumb, a little of thumb. When you find a broomstick and it has shit on the tip, man, it's time. If you're at that job, you must quit. You know what I mean? Simply put.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
quit.
there's only one way that can happen, right?
Well, you could put it up your own ass if you really want to.
Well, it's going up somebody's ass.
There ain't nothing. Mine ain't nothing going in there. The only guy that's ever been in there is the guy that does the
Colonoscopy. I had one.
colonoscopy. And he
Yeah.
gives me a drug first. And I once turned behind me and he was zipping up his pants. And I asked him to stop. I said, I don't know what's going on back there. But whatever, you're supposed to be only a device. And I'm not talking a real one.
Did you have trouble drinking that stuff?
Oh, my God. Griggy, we should tell him about that horrible liquid. If you ever have to get a colonoscopy, Griggy, which you will do because you're going to eventually get to be older, they're going to
I
make you
go
drink.
every week.
You go every week, you poor bastard. No wonder you got that disposition, that cranky disposition. Listen, you got to
Hey,
drink
shut your
vile.
mouth.
Okay,
Listen.
Griggy, that's it. I'm in a pissed off mood. Nobody wanted to fix my car today. I went to 3 garages. They all told me they had to make an appointment. I'm going over there to EIP and giving you a PIE in the face, you prick. Let's go. Okay, Griggster. No, but did you ever drink that horrible liquid for a colonoscopy? Griggster?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever had.
Yes, I've had them. Like I said, I go in once a week. I go in so often, the doctor's telling me, man, he says, hey, you don't need to do it. I'm forcing myself on them. I'm loving it. It's a great time. I drink that stuff like it's Nesquik. You know what I mean? I enjoy it. I like.
It's really
But like
vile.
I said, I went in last week to the doc. I said, treat me like the OHL boys, doc. You know what I mean? Hit me up with that goalie stick. You know, lash me, whip me, spit on me. Do what you got to do, doc. Get me through this colonoscopy. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to hit back on that for 1 minute if I could, boys. This crazy world we live in, power deconstructed, the system is absolutely being torn to pieces. You'll see guys just like what we've seen, these boys coming out more often and more often, because now it's a culture of acceptance, a culture of truth. So you'll see a lot of these stories coming out about coaches doing things, you know, that would just make your hair curl. It would make creepofreek take his mask off and reconsider everything he's done. You know, it would turn him into a real priest. You know what I mean? The things I've heard and seen, but you'll see it more and more over time because these guys, it's old guards. You know what I mean? And I said this to Eddie on our last show, man. And I wonder if Creep thinks the same about this. As generations go, you'll see a different type of culture, a different type of community, a different type of society. You've seen children today, Creep. I'm sure you've grabbed them, put them in sacks, but before you've seen that and before you've done that, you've
No,
seen them,
Creepofreek
you've
usually doesn't
observed
show
them.
kids. But what?
No, usually doesn't. That's the main thing, usually.
Well,
But like I said, you've when you've decided to observe them, you've seen the change in the culture. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
old hat now. These old guys, I feel like they're dinosaurs on their last death throes. And within the next 10, even to 20 years, man, you're going to see a culture change completely 100%. I think in even anything from A to Z, conspiratorial, politically, police state-wise, man, even economically, going to be a different thing altogether. Unless these guys truly are extraterrestrial beings that live forever, then maybe we have an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's we don't know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, somebody's got to hold up this country when we all retire, right? When we get old, and that's the worry. What worries me, because these kids are so lazy, nobody's going to want to work.
Your kids, how old are your kids?
I have 4 kids. I have 20.
Ugh.
Daughter's like 27. She's a teacher. My son, he's 24. He works in a hotel. And I have another daughter who's in college, her second year, and my youngest son, he's a sophomore in high school.
So they're all doing okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, they are. That's true. That's true. So I guess these kids aren't that bad.
Well, yours sound okay. Mine are still pretty young. Griggy's working on one, right? You have one. I know that.
I'm working on one. I'm trying to get 2 out, but we'll see how that goes. I still got my hand up one as well. And you know what? That's the thing. Hey, that's the thing, man. You gotta wonder where everyone's gonna be in the next 20, 25 years. And I know as fathers, as men of what do we call ourselves? We're men who are in this weird time. You know what I mean? We're not millennials. I'm not a millennial. You guys are past that, but we're in a weird 25-year gap. You know what I mean? We're within the next 25 years. The kids are really, like you said, gonna be in charge. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be on Earth time. I'm gonna be in your shoes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be at your age. So I'm gonna see these kids. Eddie, I'm gonna see your kids. Your kids are gonna be 20. You know what I mean? You gotta really wonder, is it gonna be like a Terminator scenario? Or is it just gonna be one of those things where they say, hey man, maybe we will just let peace prevail. You know what I mean? And can that even happen? Is my question to you fellas.
I would say it's more likely to happen than it used to be, I guess, because all these young kids sound like they care about the environment, they care about, peace and all this. So if most of them end up fulfilling what they say they care about, maybe give peace a chance, it'll happen. But I don't know. We seem to keep producing bad people all the time. So that's just as evenly balanced. So I don't know. There's always going to be people who are going to do bad, and then there's some that'll do good. So I don't think it's going to change a lot, but maybe a little bit better.
Well, I think the kids today, a lot of them are doing actually pretty well, intelligence-wise. I think maybe better than they did in the old days. I mean, most kids seem to be going to college now, whereas in the old days they dropped off and went into a job. What do you guys think about that?
It's a good move to have them go to school longer. I'm trying to get my kids to stop watching YouTube cartoons and do their homework without me pushing them into doing it, because their tendency is to goof off. But I told them, there's a way to make a good living, a way to be able to have a good future, and so I'm working on them heavily. And I think in their case it'll be interesting. We'll still keep in touch in the next 20 years. Hang on, you all 3 of us. Griggy will be around for a long time. Us, I don't know, maybe 25 more years. You'd be happy with 25 more, Creep?
25? Yeah, that'd be good for me.
Yeah. By that time, we'll have a new president, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Ivanka Trump. No, I hope not. Not her. I think we've had enough of the Clintons, enough of the Bushes. We've had so many Bushes that one of them had to be pushed out into into the ground. Not that I'm advocating that.
Into another dimension. Into another dimension is where he went home. Like Elvis, old GH went home, man.
Yeah. He's with Barbara now. He's with the old lady. You know, one thing that's funny, Griggs, I'm going to ask you a question. In his old age, the Bush that just died, in the last year, 3 or 4 stories emerged that he was patting women on the ass. Did you see it?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
not
know
like
that.
not overtly like not wildly, going all over them, like feeling them all over, but he was like a little tap or two. Did you remember that story, Griggster? It was out there that GH Senior was doing a little bit of hanky pat, like a little bit over the top. Did you see that, or did you hear that story?
Yes, I did. No, I did. I did. And I'll say this, Ed, a Satanist, a Skull and Bones elite, an NWO white, a military industrial complex mother will do what he does and get away with what he can get away with. So of course he'll grab a little ass. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is, man. And I'm going to say this. As an older guy as well, of course you're gonna grab where you can get it, you know what I mean? So on that side, I sympathize with old GH, because he's just doing what he can to get a thrill, you know what I mean? But on the other end, you're a creepy old mother, you shouldn't be touching ladies, doing this, that, and the other. Of course, a gentleman of this world, as we all are, we agree with that. So I'm of two minds as usual, you know what I'm saying? But I got some great respect for that guy, man. He implemented some of the best martial law, man. I'm telling you, this guy brought in 100% the world the way we know it today. And I love it, man. I love it. Absolute chaos, terror, disruption, disorder, disdain, depression. Man, you can thank George Bush for pretty much all of that. His family, they funded the Nazis. They did the whole thing in the war, World War II. We all know that way back when. So, man, from back then to now, I love the Bushes. You know what I mean? And if he wants to get a little trim, speaking of Bush, I'm all for it, Ed.
You know what? I like Trump for one thing that he said. He called Jeb Bush low energy. And you know what? There's days where I'm on medication and I got psoriasis and new injections for different things, diabetes, and I call myself I'm low energy Eddie G.
You are. You're itchy. You're scratchy. You're all over the place. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm on right now a medication for psoriasis, which is very bad, and it's helping. So it's a little better. And look, I have the energy to stay up as late as 9 or 10, and that I'm doing it. I'm hanging in for my boys, my bros.
Did you know, Ed, psoriasis, now that is, I may be incorrect, but that's an excessive growth of the skin, is it not?
Kind of. You would say that I have psoriatic arthritis. It's a connected illness where both are actually happening at the same time. And I'm on Cosentyx. My son just came downstairs to say hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Kid, say hi. Scream hello.
What's his name?
Jeremy.
Hello,
Creepofreek.
little fella. I hear
Creepofreek.
him there. Yes, I
Come
do.
here. Come here, Jeremy.
How old is he?
Now
This
he
isn't
runs
going to
out.
end up well.
He ran out of the room.
As he should.
He's 7 years old. I have 7-year-old
Oh.
twins.
Wow. You got young children.
Yeah, I started at 51.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start. I mean, I made kids at 51 because I read a book and I didn't know how to read well. And I put it in the wrong hole all these years and it never worked out. And then I saw a video, how to make children. So once at 51, I learned Griggster.
You slipped past the goalie, man. And you know what? Be lucky you didn't do a hat trick. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I know. I have a friend of a friend that got 3 in one crack and he was going crazy. I heard stories. 3.
My mother.
Imagine
Can you
3.
imagine sending all 3 to college at the same time? Oh my goodness.
I can barely afford to send them to grade school. This school is like a department store.
Isn't it though? It's insanity, man. They get you at every step of the way. I love that, Eddie, that you brought that up. $1 here, $1 there. They're like I swear to God, man, they're like the little guy in the corner with the monkey. You know what I mean? They're always asking. And you can't deny your children. Is that the truth? And they know that. So that's why they get the kids to ask about all these fundraisers, these yada yadas, and it's always a little at a time, you know?
not just this. Listen how evil this school is. They had a meet the parents day, right? The teachers meet the parents, right, to discuss how the kids are doing. So what do?
Yes.
They have a store with books and toys out in the hallway, walking in. So if you brought your kids, this time I brought my kids to wait to play with their friends, and then they come running up to me with 5 toys and 3 books for like $60 a piece altogether. All of them want the things, and I'm sitting there fighting, and then they're cooking pizzas down the hall to sell to the kids too. They're like heroin dealers, and it's all in the name of not liberty. It's all in the name of making money, and it's a school, and they're just trying to rip me off. And I was so mad, I almost ran out of there.
Another thing that pisses me off is every time I go to the grocery store, there's somebody stand outside, kids or whoever, every day, or a guy with a bell for Christmas collecting money. Every day I go to the grocery store.
And what
We
about
get
the
it.
cat?
You know what I mean? And the thing is, and listen, let's just be fair and true. If it's a guy out on the corner and he has the old Salvation Army bell, you know what I mean? It's probably going to a good spot. But if he's out front of Walmart and he's got the big old smiling pot, it's going into Walmart. You know what I mean? You don't need to hear it. You don't need to see it. We get it. And what it is, I'll be honest, Creep, what it is this faux spirit of Christmas. You know what I mean? It's not a real spirit of Christmas. It's this guy that Walmart puts out front of the store. They pay him, $7 an hour to sit there and clang a bell, all for you to give another $2 to their organization. And as well, while you're in Walmart, while you're at the checkout, they already ask again, would you like to give another $2 to some yada yada organization? But not only that, Creep, if that wasn't enough, if they weren't already reaching in your pockets, they tax you on every single item. Do you know what I mean? Jeez Louise. And you come out with that attitude, you want to give Santy a punch in the face. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And we're in Canada. The taxes are worse here than where you are, man. We're at 15% in Quebec. Oh, yeah, 15%.
15 for groceries?
Yeah, not on all groceries. Some groceries, there's no taxes. No, they're in Quebec, certain foods, they don't tax you on it, but they have a crazy system here, man.
How's your health care? Is it national care, or do you have to pay through your employer?
Well, I don't work, so Medicare you're talking about. Well, it's included in every citizen gets it. Medicare means
whole life. We don't get it till we're like 65. We get Medicare. Until then, we got to pay for it.
Well, here it's like socialized medicine.
$14,000 a year in the United States.
I don't know how you.
Biggest problem. Nobody can retire. They got to work till they're 65 because they can't afford to pay, $1,400 a month for medical insurance.
That's ridiculous. That was half of what I earned in my last job.
I
only make $2,800 a month, 2,000 to 300-400, maybe. And how could Griggy's lucky he's in Canada too. The Medicare is good. I mean, you have medication covered by Quebec, in my case, Quebec government. In Griggy's case, I don't know how it works in his province, but.
Well, you know what, man? Where I live, I'll just tell you right now, this is where I reside on the east coast of Canada on Prince Edward Island, man. We are like the island of misfit toys. We're like the island of Dr. Moreau. I'm telling you right now, it's so twisted and weird over here, man. We have our Medicare. That's fine and good and dandy. But listen to this. There's a bridge. If you guys understand this, I live on an island, so the rest of Canada is not connected to us. So there's a bridge that connects us. Okay. Now, get this, Creep. To come over the bridge, it's free. It's free, okay? You come over, it's free. But to leave and go back over to where you came from, it costs you $40. $40 to leave. So listen to this. You can come here. You can come here for free, but you can't leave. And even citizens of this province, they got to pay $40 to get out as well. But that's not where the insanity ends. we're taxed real different here, man. We're taxed weird because we got trucks that must deliver, right? So they deliver over the bridge. Now to come over the bridge, it's free. But to go back over, even for transfer trucks, delivery trucks, it costs them $40 each time. So if you can imagine, that taxes up the food. You know what I mean? The prices of all the goods and all that. So man,
Wow.
listen, it's a real different climate over here, if I may say.
That I
So,
didn't know.
so your groceries must be really expensive.
And to top it off, man, we have a low, what do they say, a low wage income. You know what I mean? We have a
Yeah.
low wage, so it doesn't equal out. You know what I mean? And this is what I've noticed. I mean, I crash landed in a bad joint, but I'm here until I get my way out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this. I love the place, a beautiful place, but it does have some twists and turns as far as the economics, the political sides of things. But like I said, 40 to leave. Now, can you imagine in your places if you had to pay just to leave the province? You know what I mean?
That would be awful.
We're on an island. We're trapped. We're trapped. We got no way to go. So,
Montreal's an island too. I understand.
but do
Yeah.
you have to pay to leave, Ed?
No, I'm off island, first of all, but Montreal is a big, massive island that's got bridges coming and going too. But they don't have tolls, as far as I know. They used to, but they don't have it. But they have worse stuff going on here with the language police, where you can't have a French, if it's a sign, the French has to be twice as big as the English on a sign for a store, for anything. You can't have English as big as French. You know all about the French stories going on in Quebec. Griggster, you know,
Yes.
you've heard about it. But
Ignorance is bliss. Yes, exactly, man. I'm going to say this. And I don't get that either, man. Equal it out. You know what I mean? Soon enough, let's just be honest with everyone. Soon enough, it's going to be some sort of language that not even you and I can understand or pronounce. It's not going to be French. It's not going to be English. It's not certainly not going to be Chinese anymore. It's going to be some sort of Arabic or some sort of something. So it doesn't matter, Ed. Make the fonts big, make them small. Soon enough, it's going to be Hamal. You know what I mean?
How's
yeah,
how's how's the crime rate out there, Griggy? It's probably pretty low on a little island like that, huh?
You know what? It used to be. It used to be. It used to be pretty low. I'll be honest with you. But now there's more, may I say, unrest, civil unrest, if I may say. A lot of people that were growing up and they grew up disenfranchised. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'd say, I wouldn't say necessarily like bang, bang, shoot 'em up crime because there's no guns really here, anything like that. There is, but I mean, not on the level. You know what I mean? It's more just a lot of low level crimes, a lot of thievery, a
Really?
lot of drug use,
Really?
a lot of things like that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And that's just what it is. It's what it is. If you can imagine, I'd say it's kind of like, oh, let's say like one of the upper middle states, like an Ohio or Wisconsin, let's say a Michigan. It's sort of like that in look. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a little depleted now from what it
Uh-huh.
used to be. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
I'm painting a grim picture. I don't want to make it seem like, old Anna Green Gables is all gone gray haired now. You know what I mean? It's still a lovely place. But like you said, the crime levels, I don't know. If I was to give an objective point of view, I say they have definitely gone up in the past 10 to 20 years. I'm not a police officer, no stats on hand. Just what
Uh-huh.
I have observed, though. You know what I mean?
That's too bad. Yeah.
what state are you in, John? Again, is it Illinois or Ohio?
Yeah. I'm in Illinois.
Right. Well, I mean, Chicago.
Chicago.
I
Oh
grew
my
up in I
God, they're
grew up in
crazy there.
Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, and I have a fun story. I was in college one day. I was playing hooky. I'm laying in bed, and the old houses, you can enter through the basement as well as the upstairs. So I'm laying in bed, and I hear someone coming through the basement. The phone's ringing, which is right off of my bedroom, and I hear someone come up the stairs. Hey, answer the phone. And they say, yeah, come on in. There's nobody home.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there in my underwear. Oh, what?
With the boner.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to die in my own bed here. So luckily, the perpetrator went to my mother's bedroom, and I snuck down the stairs, and I did put my pants on. It was a life and death situation, but I put my pants on. I was going to die with my pants on, you know.
With
So
dignity.
Yes, with dignity. You never know how you're going to react in a crisis, you know. So I ran out. I went into the gangway, and I saw another guy coming straight to my house. So there's two of them now.
Holy
So
shit.
my dad had a butcher shop. That's where I learned how to cut meat. I'm a meat cutter by trade, by the way. So I ran 4 blocks in the rain in my socks, and I told my dad, I said, I think somebody's robbing the house. He goes, lock up the doors. We called the police, Chicago Police Department. I'll never forget it. By the time we drove 4 blocks, which is nothing, at half a mile, the cops were there already. It was amazing. And they came in with the guns drawn, and my dad lets him in the front door, and he's going to walk in there with him. I'm like, I'm not going in there. You're nuts. And sure enough, one of the crooks was coming out of my bedroom, and they stopped him and arrested him. And the other one got away. But in that 10 minutes I was gone, they completely tore my house apart. Torn apart. And they were heroin addicts. And what they did, their scam was, they would look in the obituaries and see John Geraci had died that day. And they thought we were all at the funeral, but it was a different John Geraci.
Oh my
They were
God.
Clever, man.
nice guys. You're
Clever.
going to rob your house when you're at the funeral, huh? Yeah. So, man, I was afraid to go in my own house for like a year. I was afraid to sleep in my own home. But I got over it. But, man, that was the scariest thing I've ever done. And the guys never saw me. That was the funny part.
Were you wearing the
Now, were
mask?
were they
No,
wearing
I
any
wasn't.
get-ups?
No. They weren't wearing get-ups. They were just normal guys.
And
Wow.
how old were you? Now, how old?
I
You may have
was
said
20. I was like 20, 21 years old. I was still in college. And say that's Chicago, boy. You talk about crime. I mean, they were pushing little old ladies over and stealing their purses on the street. My dad's car was stolen in front of the house, right in front of our house. They busted into our butcher shop 2 or 3 times. We had metal bars on the back windows. They rigged it up to a truck and pulled so hard to rip the bars off that like half the building came down with it. It was bad at the end. It was a good neighborhood till like the last 10, 15 years, and then we had to get
sounds
out of
like
it.
Mad Max is what it sounds like, man. Fury Road.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's the way it is in Chicago. Once the neighborhood goes bad, you're in trouble. But then people go back to the real bad neighborhoods and build them up again, and they rejuvenate them. But they got to get really bad first. But that was scary. That was the scariest thing that ever happened to me.
I
How about you
imagine
guys?
it
You
was,
ever
man.
have any really scary stuff like that happen to you?
In my case, well, not scary in your level. I just came home and I had a condo about 12, 13 years ago. And I came home and they had robbed me, but I didn't have anything worth much. I had a chain worth about $50. Wow. They must have done a lot of amazing stuff with that. And then other than that, they didn't find anything because I'm not a rich guy. I had money from Jamaica from when I went to Jamaica worth about $5. So they grabbed that. Boom. Must have been so disappointed when they got out of that place. There was nothing in it. $50, they got 20 for it if they're lucky. And then the Jamaican money, they went to the bank, they're going to give them $2 if they're lucky. So, I mean, really, they were like, there was the wrong place. They figured I was rich, but I wasn't. My mother bought me the condo. I was broke gambling in casinos and betting on football every weekend. I had no money. So
Well,
they
at least you had
wasted their
fun with the
time.
money.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have been depressed after that
Can
robbery.
you imagine? Can you imagine breaking into a condo? You spend all your time searching it out. You're like, oh man, here it is. Here's the condo. Now we gotta wait for this guy to go. So he goes out, and they break in with their little knives up against the side of the window, and they come in. They're like, "Oh, we're in," and they're sweating because they're really scared, And then they go and they're rifling through stuff. They got their flashlights, and they're like, "Oh, a gold chain, this is fantastic." And then they find a few matchbooks, and then they search your pockets. They got some moths in there. And then they go, wait, this guy's got nothing. This was absolutely not worth going to jail for 10 years,
Well, they never found these dudes, I'm sure. I guess they didn't. The cops didn't really seem that excited about the whole thing. They just said, okay, I'll look into it. And I didn't care anyway. It was a stupid chain my parents bought me. It was worth pennies. $50 is what they paid for like 20 years before. So it really was a disappointing night for those guys. But other than that, who did the song "The Night Chicago Died"? Do you remember that song?
Yeah, I love that song.
The Night Chicago.
No, is it Badfinger? No, I don't think so.
Now I forgot. I'm supposed to know about music, and now I forgot. I thought I'd throw it at you to see if you remember it. But it was a big hit in the 70s.
Yeah, I love that song.
I should know that.
Yeah.
You should know it.
I know, and I'm not going to cheat by looking it up because I'll end up screwing up the internet connection or the Skype connection if it's not.
Yeah, we'll never hear you again.
That'll be it.
We'll lose them.
No, I'll be gone. How much longer you want to go, boys? It's up to you. Another 5 minutes? You want to do closing soon?
That sounds good.
We're at 1 hour and 1 minute.
You know what?
I don't care.
That went fast.
There's no better way to segue to how longer we want to do this than just asking straight up, how much longer do you want to go, Ed? That's why you are the radio master. You know what I mean? I love it. We got 5 left, you said. Let's do
more.
It.
Let's do more if you want. I don't care.
Do more, do less.
What do you guys got coming up in the future? What do we got to look forward to?
More shows about music for me.
All right. Anything specific?
Well, I want to talk about how a concert promotion company, a concert venue that sells tickets, rips off the clients. It's a big story in Montreal, but I won't talk about it too much now. But they charge exorbitant fees for things, and there's a class action suit against them for doing that. So I joined the class action suit for a few tickets I bought. They're e-tickets. You print
he's
tickets.
going on about that Judas Priest show again that he had to buy e-tickets for.
Not that one. No, that's the Iron Maiden one. This is they charge you $5.75 to print your ticket that they give you in a PDF. They send it to you and they charge you almost $6 just for that. It's different than the bitching and crying about Iron Maiden. That was last week. This is the newest.
Oh, the bitching continues, but it's different this week. I understand, Ed. I understand.
If it was EddyG bitching, man, I'd have 12-hour shows 7 days a week, man. That's my nature. Life bothers me. I wake up and the birds are chirping. I want to shoot the birds. That's the way I am.
I get you, man. I'm with you with that. I want to choke my bird every morning as well, my mother.
Oh, that's another topic. Yeah, I can't. The kid might walk in. I have to be careful.
Keep it clean, man. Keep it PG. Keep it PC. Anything with a P in front of it, that's how you got to keep it, man. And Creep, you asked what we're doing next. Well, I almost got off on another tangent. But as for me, man, I'm traveling the Griggyverse. You saw me. I was on the mix having some fun.
I loved it. Yeah.
What I'm doing about? Is that like
what I'm doing, Creep? I invaded. I've been auditioning in a few different places because I was on this Gonzo network, one of the biggest networks on earth, Howard Stern affiliated, Whack Pack affiliated. I was there, you were there, Eddie was there. The rubs you got, man. Listen, you guys must be just beating down people. The offers must be coming at you for movies, scripts, TV, television, radio, everything. But hey, on my end, after Gonzo exploded, or should I say imploded, man, I was getting offers A to Z, come do this, come do that. I said, man, I'm going to pick and choose. So now I'm doing radio auditions, having a little fun along the way, getting tangled up in all the wires, as I like to say. But, man, I got a treat for everyone out there, man, because in the new year, the Grig Man will be back full time doing the show live once again. No mistakes, no mulligans, no do-overs. A little golf talk there for you. It's gonna be fan-griggantastic. Ed will be back. The Creep will be a frequent guest, and everyone else, man, blow me. No, I'm just kidding. You can blow me if you want, but that's the only way you're going to get on the guest list. It's going to be a hard day's night, man, as far as Griggy's concerned, to get on my list this time, because I had a lot of foibles, a lot of guys trying to cause a lot of fuss. They were making me get angry. They're making me go cuckoo off to the left. Man, we're just going to be going straight down center road. Griggy, Fear and Loathing in Grig Vegas style. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to it. I'm saving up my shekels to be on the show, man. I'll give you $18 each time. How's that?
Start doing your push-ups, Ed. Start doing your push-ups. Start working those arms, man, because that's what I need. I don't need shekels, man. I need someone that can do some bodily harm. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the creepofreek. You got me beat with that look. That's the creepofreek, man. Yeah, I'm only crazy in the head, but he looks crazier than I feel. We're both nuts, I think.
Crazy in the head, crazy in bed. That's what they say, my man.
I have an egg timer when I'm in bed. It doesn't. I flip over the hourglass. By the time the song's finished, so am I.
Like sands in the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And speaking of days of our lives, man, I have to wander off into the sunset right now. I got a reset sort of vibe in my hyperbolic chamber. You know what I'm saying? I only come out so often like Michael Jackson. So listen, guys, I want to thank you for having me on this menage a trois sort of affair. You know what I'm saying?
It's a menage a trois with our clothes on, thank God.
That's true.
That's
Thank
a good
God.
thing. That's a good thing.
And the mask.
Well, I want to thank everybody. It's a community effort. We all three chipped in. Creepofreek, EddyG's Music World, and the Griggster, of course. And this is not my show. It's not your show. It's our show. And if anybody listens to this and has any comments, they're all going to be on each other's channels, I'm sure. And we'd be thrilled to hear good or bad. Mostly good, but we'll take the bad with the good.
All right. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Till death do we part. And
Right.
in Creepofreeks, in my case, might be in the next few years. But it's okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Try to keep you alive. All right, Griggster, any closing comments?
No closing comments, man. Just close the curtain, my mother's mother. We are done. This was fan-griggantastic. I loved it. You guys love talking to you every time. Maybe next time when we do this, we can each write a little bit, maybe, 3-4 things we want to talk about so we don't have to pause. You know what I mean? Next
Sure.
time around the bend, you know what I'm saying? So that would be fan-griggantastic. A little radio prep, you know what I'm saying? Each one of us has a thing we can bounce off of. We did great, though. Fantastic. But you know what I mean? Just something so we can kind of keep on track, Jack, and that's a fact. You know what I'm saying, my mothers?
We should do that.
Yeah. Sounds good
We
to me.
should prep a little more. Well, I had a couple of things. Creepofreek had a few things on his mind, and so did you. But we should come up maybe a little more structure. But it's fine. For a first-time man, we did pretty good. I can be proud.
Fine like wine, man. Fine like wine.
All right, guys, I'm out. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon, and we'll see what goes around next time.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. Tomorrow, I'm gonna upload this. I'm gonna put a little picture of us up. I'll tag us all in it. I'll send you, Eddie. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link, Creep. I'll put it up on my page, and that's how she'll go. You know what I mean?
Good move.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks again.